Before we begin, thank you very much to Nick A for joining my Patreon campaign. Thank you very much, Nick. I really do appreciate the support and helping to keep the channel going. There's a lot going on with my Patreon shoutouts. I've got so many to get through that now I have to jump back to the ones who signed up in January, get those out of the way, and then I can get to everyone who signed up in late January who already paid up. So it's a little bit weird right now, but everyone's getting their shoutouts. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, thank you for supporting. So this is what's going to be the monthly Q&A. Assuming that it works out, assuming that everyone enjoys it, I plan for it to be monthly. So let's go over what we're going on here. So you guys sent like almost 200 questions. So I can't get to all of them in this video. I'm going to record until I got 20-25 minutes worth of material, and then I'm going to are off there. I'll try just to read my favorites or the most interesting ones. If I don't answer yours, I apologize. You are free to post them again in the comments of this video, or post a different question if you want. If I answer your question on here, please do not ask me another one in the comments below. Trying to give everyone a fair chance to go through. And of course, one question per post. Again, trying to be fair to everybody here. Yeah, if I don't get to yours, I'm sorry, I can't get to every single one of these. But we've also ordered them in the order of like the most popular comments. So if you are scrolling through the comments of this video and you see a question you would like answered, make sure to give it like the thumbs up so we can get it bumped to the top and raise the likelihood of an answer. All right. So with all that out of the way, let's answer a few things that you guys have been pondering to me. And the first one is, do you think you'll ever do a Plastic Addict victim tier list, ranking toys from flea market tier to Titanium Megatron? I may or may not have written this down as soon as I saw this comment. I guess you will have to watch out for that, but I think it's a really funny idea. Jeez. Have I ever bought a toy just because it looked funny or as a joke? The lead villain from Masked Rider, Count Dragon, which I found at the usual comic shop I visit over in Fort Lauderdale, Tate's. It was there for some random reason. I thought it would be funny to own. It's not funny to own. It's taking up space. But yes, I've absolutely done that. Which other Unicron Trilogy characters do you want Hasbro to make for Legacy? A lot of them. I'm actually big on them doing more in Armada. I think Armada had some really cool character designs that was really held back by just the gimmick-centric toy design of the era. I would love to see like Blur redone in a way where he can actually, function as an action figure. Are there any toys that were on Plastic Addict who you at the time were grow more fond of or wouldn't consider Plastic Addict bad anymore? I've said this before. There's some where I judged by paint job, and that was bad. That was wrong of me. I think Titanium Menasor, a lazy repaint, but technically not a bad toy. Energon Optimus Prime, also technically not a bad toy, just visibly flawed and simple in design. I'm a little bit more fond of them than I was then. So yeah, absolutely. When it comes to new figures, how do you bounce around between ordering online and going toy hunting in actual stores? It's all based on priority. The characters I really want, yeah, I will pre-order. I want to make sure I get a hold of those. And then the ones I'm just kind of mild on, or I want to wait to see what my friends think of it. I want to see reviews of it before I go in on it. Those are the ones I wait to find in stores. It is also a matter of timing. Late wave stuff typically gets really hard to find in stores, so those I am far more apt to pre-order than I am wave one of a new series, which will generally be just a glut of that product at retail. So those are the two big elements that decide what I'm pre-ordering versus what I'm hunting for. Question for you, TJOmega, which do you prefer, waffles or pancakes? French toast. I'm not big on pancakes or waffles, but French toast. Something that requires its own video, but what are your favorite gimmicks from Transformer history? Yeah, there's probably a top 10 I could do on like the best Transformer gimmicks, but off the top of my head, without doing any real digging or research, I will tell you Headmasters and Cyber Keys. I like the collectible aspect of both. I like the added engineering to both. I liked how both actually didn't get in the way of the toys just being good for their era. So that would be the answer for now. If I do a top 10 for that, it'll probably be a little bit more research, so I might be more specific in the gimmick. I'm just going to point out 2 people in a row asked me what characters would I put in a brand new Transformers series. That one is definitely a full video. If I'm making my dream cast, well, we'll get to that at some point. What do I think Hasbro's going to do for the fantastic 40th anniversary of Transformers? I am expecting, well, I'll tell you, I'm expecting something like, I'm expecting Studio Series Optimus Prime, Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. I think we already have what, in Kingdom, I think we have what Hasbro would consider a definitive version, but there's still a few bells and whistles missing. I honestly, wouldn't really, be out of the range to see that Earthrise Optimus Prime done again, with the added accessories that are missing, with bonus accessories, maybe some cleaned up engineering. I really want the leg transformation from Siege to return to that mold, because that would hide the tires and make it look even smoother. I would expect to see that mold again, enhanced, upgraded, extra parts, etc., with a special price tag, special spot on the shelf. Beyond that, I do think we're getting Legacy now, bobbing around through all these different generations, so Fantastic 40 can focus probably on the 84 cast. That's what I would expect from a Fantastic 40 anniversary for Transformers. Have you ever considered doing any sort of voice work? I've gotten that a lot, where people do like the sound of my voice and they like my delivery, but it requires acting ability, and I've seen my acting ability, and it can be honed, it can be trained, but I don't think I could get to the point where I'd be comfortable putting my voice out there and asking people to pay money to put it in things. There's also a matter of vocal range. I don't have the best range of voices I can do. Most of the time when I hit on a voice, it's hard for me to get back to it or figure out how I did it, which is, again, something you can practice and hone, but, again, I don't think I would be comfortable enough asking someone to, pay to hear my voice in something. Have you ever considered commissioning one of the numerous fantastic customers online for specific decos? If the man wasn't so busy, I want Grim Locamus to do some kind of Cybertron Skywarp for me. That's been my dream paint job, that toy. I need to buy him a Universe 2 Dirge, the cheapest version of that mold you can find. Have him, send that off to him and go, here, have fun. Just make it Skywarpy for me. I'm going to cheat here because Juan asked 3 questions. I'm only going to answer a couple of them. I'll answer number 2 because number 1 takes a little bit more thought. Number 2 is, do you consider that the old pre-2011 figures are better than the ones we receive nowadays just because they were bigger, heavier, and had gimmicks? And the new ones are better than the old ones. It's a give and take there. The old, figures from a decade ago definitely had more plastic to them. They were more solidly built, etc. But I really think with anything creative or design process, I really think you bring out a lot of strengths and a lot of cleverness when you are put under a limit. So that tighter budget the Transformers have now, I think has birthed some really efficient and intuitive Transformers, and I think it's come up with some really clever engineering that we otherwise wouldn't have gotten if they still had a big budget like they did in the mid-2000s. I really feel like the engineering is better today. It's more efficient today, but I think it's definitely going to be a preferential thing, whether you believe that the old toys are better than the new ones or not. I think it's a mixed bag. I think it's, some are better, some are worse. It just depends on what you look for in a toy. Dominic wants to know if I think Beast Box is going to be a competitor for Hasbro in the future. Absolutely not. You've got Hasbro has a 35-year jump on Beast Box. There's no catching up to that, especially because Beast Box, what they're doing is kind of a niche. They do some robots, but for the most part, it's the same cube. It just turns into different animals. That's never going to catch on the way Transformers did, because it's never going to have the variety that Transformers does. I think they're doing fantastic for what they're doing, but no, it's never going to stand up and be a competitor to a Transformer. Can we expect any more pitch videos this year? Yes, if I can come up with some good pitches. I would love to do some kind of Transformer video game pitch, because I think good Transformer video games are somewhat rare, and I'm still not sure they've ever done one properly. I don't know about, because I did a cartoon pitch, and someone asked about what I would do for a dream team. I could pitch a cartoon that uses the classic cast, We'll see. There's plenty of things that are pitchable in Transformers. How do I feel about the recent trend of toys that just have brick vehicle modes under the excuse of it's Cybertronian? I mean, I am disappointed when a toy just comes out to a brick, but I do think it depends on the brick. On Soundwave, like Siege Soundwave, I don't think you really have an option because that robot mode has to be so freaking blocky. The vehicle mode is going to end up blocking no matter what you do, and I don't think there's a point to overcomplicating it otherwise. I think you see far more creative stuff with like the Bumblebee movie Cybertronian toys. You can see they're definitely not blocks. They're definitely not bricks in vehicle mode. But things like Skullgrin is disappointing because it's just a brick with a couple treads stuck to it. That's not great. I really wish they tried a little bit harder on that one. Any chance that Omega's Prime could come back in some form or another? So for those who don't know, Omega's Prime is what I went by on TFW 2005. It's what I went by on the WTF at TFW podcast for years. TJOmega is the name that took off. Originally, Omega's Prime was going to tie into a fanfic I was going to write at the time. Never really got around to it. I've already shared some of my Beast Wars fanfic here on the channel before. I've kind of just moved away. I don't think Omega's Prime is going to make a return. If I did, it would be some kind of side character I would do. Someone could make me like a VTuber avatar or a reactive PNG that I could like edit into things as like a side thing. Maybe. There could be something funny to be had to that, but I think for the most part I'm happy just kind of leaving that as like a weird footnote in the past of TJOmega. What is my biggest complaint with modern Transformers and Power Rangers, aside from the fact they haven't crossed them over yet? In both of them, I feel like my biggest complaint with Transformers is just an oversaturation of product. I really wish they would tone it back a little bit. I don't need Buzzworthy. I don't need Velocitron. I don't need And now we're getting like two different toy lines. We're getting Studio Series Rise of the Beast and a Rise of the Beast toy line on its own. I really just think there's way too much Transformer product out there, and I think it's eating itself. Where they're trying to produce things for literally everybody, and I think it's getting to the point where it's costing them a little bit more than they realize. Not just financially, because it's competing with itself, but also I really feel like a lot of stuff is taking time and attention away from things that could be done better. So it feels like Transformers just getting way too big. On Power Rangers side, I feel like my biggest disappointment there would be the Lightning Collection monsters that are just way too big. Like I have the Figuart set from Mighty Morphin, and they're ridiculously small to the monsters. But even if you have the proper Lightning Collection 6-inch, they're still way too big. And I have no idea why they made them so gigantic. I would love more Monsters of the Week. I'm still waiting on a Squattin' Babu to complete my Moon collection. But yeah, I don't know why they screwed that one up. Okay, so I've already done Rock Lords, and I have a whole other thing for G1 Ironhide and Ratchet, so we'll do that later on. I will answer what got me collecting Scythers, my favorite Pokemon. As soon as I found a Scyther in Pokemon Red, I was immediately hooked. I've always had a thing for Mantis. This is a giant green Mantis made of blades. It's like the coolest design I'd ever seen for any kind of anthropomorphic animal of any kind, or any kind of fantasy animal. It really just it's just my Pokemon. You know, I think a lot of people just collect their Pokemon, and that is mine. Thoughts on the animation style direction for the Masterpiece line? I'm not opposed to it because that is what people generally think of when they think of the original Transformers, is that cartoon accurate look. My only complaint is that they started it midway through the G1 character line. So you've got things like Prowl, for instance, and Sideswipe that still have a lot more of their toy-centric elements sculpted into them. And then you get things like, Trailbreaker, where he's just, as clean and accurate to the cartoon as they can get him. I think it is a positive and a negative, and again, something that's better left to your personal preference. My only frustration is the fact that the Masterpiece line is now not consistent with itself, and you have to buy a ridiculously expensive convoy to get a matching Optimus for the rest of your collection. I still like MP10. Like, I don't need to buy the $300 Optimus Prime. I think that's the only other real complaint you can levy to that, is that they've gotten way too expensive for the sake of that complexity that the animation requires. I said $300. Now that I think about it, I think it was like a $400 Optimus. It was stupid, whatever it was. Have you ever gotten a figure suggested for Plastic Addict that you thought was actually good and didn't deserve it, or vice versa? All the time. All the time. I have so many people who said that Revenge of the Fallen Scavenger was not Plastic Addict worthy because it was such a unique bot. And my argument is still, it doesn't function as a toy in either mode. In a vehicle mode, I expect it to roll. It does not. In a robot mode, I expect it to stand without having to gorilla itself on its arms. It does not. I feel like it's generally terrible in every direction, and I still have people fighting me on that one. And if you like it, that's your preference. Remember, it's all opinion. You know, you are not wrong, I am not wrong, because it's opinion. But on the good side, yeah, there's absolutely toys that people suggested for years for Plastic Addict. Energon Ironhide is like one of the most popular ones for a long time to suggest for Plastic Addict, and I really don't think that toy does anything terribly wrong. In the context of Energon toys, especially at that size class, I thought he was really good. So, like, and I made a whole sketch of that, he does not deserve to be addict worthy. I could go on. There's an entire list of toys. That's another video I should make. It's just like all the toys over the years people have suggested for Plastic Addict that are not bad. Because a lot of people make suggestions based on their personal pet peeves or based on biases. I try not to do that. I try to be objective with everything that makes it onto Plastic Addict. And no, this is genuinely bad all the way around. Opinion on TJOmega exclusive, like Altered Paint, Premium Finish, exclusive figures, and more. I genuinely miss the days when Takara did it better than Hasbro because they had more freedom in their paint budget than Hasbro did. We have the Premium Finish figures now, which kind of brings us back to that point, but they are now sold at a premium, which is a little bit more unfortunate, but at least the option is there. I wish they'd do it as like a full line, like here's an all-star line of what came out in the last 5 years, but we've made the paint really, really good. The brand unification, I think globally on a marketing scheme, yes, it's a better idea, but I do really think it's hurt us and taking something special out of like getting your imported Transformers. Like there's really nothing special about a Takara Transformer anymore. I kind of miss that. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? I mean, like an African or a European swallow? Also, does that swallow transform into an Autobot or Decepticon? Because that generally actually makes a difference in flight speed. Do you want Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, or Boom Studios to get the Transformer comic license? I would, in my heart, I would want Marvel just because of the universe that they could put Transformers into. Like, I think it'd be super cool to go back to the fact that Marvel started the comic books and now they have the comic books again. That would be really cool. I'd like to strengthen the brand with Disney, so maybe we can get some more love from that end. But no, honestly, like Boom Studios is probably a good call. Power Ranger comics have been fantastic. That would be a really good choice. I don't know. Like until 2.0, I really liked what IDW was doing. I really think it doesn't really matter where it goes. I'm not concerned with who's publishing it. I'm concerned with who's writing it and what they're actually going to do with it. That's my bigger concern rather than like who's actually like putting the book out. Since you have multiple Holy Grails and many toy brands, I wonder what those are for you in Kamen Rider. I'm not telling anyone my Holy Grails anymore. I don't trust any of you anymore. Would you ever consider a third-party figure for Plastic Addict or even some figures from the other lines, like from Black Series Star Wars? No, absolutely not. Plastic Addict is an example that Transformers should be better than it is, so doing third-party completely goes against that principle. Also, I'm not buying bad toys just for the sake of doing it for other toy lines. I am a Transformer guy. Plastic Addict is a Transformer series, always will be, will never branch out into anything else. Ever. Will you do an unpopular opinion / hot takes video at some point? I do a lot of those. I feel like I do a lot of those. I had someone say they were upset that my channel was just becoming hot take videos. Like, I don't think I'm making hot takes. I don't think I'm saying anything like controversial or, oh my God, I can't believe he went there. You know, I don't know. I think you look at most plastic addicts, and I'm like, it feels like my opinion's unpopular, but it's all in good fun. So it's not meant to be taken seriously. Have you noticed how the animated line's prices have shot up because of Legacy line and toy reviewers all getting their hands on the toy line? I wouldn't say that's because of Legacy. I would say that's just because animated has now hit the age where it has the nostalgia, where you have adults who watched it growing up who are now looking back and being nostalgic for their stuff. Generally, like, once something hits about 15 years of age, you have people start going back to grabbing it and like trying to recapture some childhood fondness for things. So animated is now hitting that point. I don't think it has anything to do with Legacy, especially because Legacy is just now officially announced its very first animated character. I think it has to do with the fact that Transformers Animated has just the right age on it now. Okay, man, jack of all claws. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but man, I can't make you every single answer in this video. Was your favorite toy/Transformer convention you never went to? It's an easy question because I only went to one. I went to BotCon 2010. I was going to go to TFCon in Orlando in 2020, and then pandemic happened, so obviously con didn't happen. So I'm hoping to go to TFCon in October, so we'll see how that one goes. Thoughts on Twitch's potential as a standout Transformer? I think she has tremendous potential, not just in like Earthspark, but in the general Transformers as a whole. Not on top of like the unique origin, a personality that we really haven't gotten out of a Transformer, because we've never really gotten to see a newborn Transformer in fiction before, outside of like Rubble in the IDW 2.0, you know. I do think there's a lot of potential for Twitch. And yeah, she's just a really fun character. I just really enjoy her as a character, period. Yes, I have watched the Japanese trilogy for Headmasters, Master Force, and Victory. Victory is my favorite out of those three. Headmasters I felt was just kind of mid, kind of like there. Master Force, I know a lot of people swear by. Master Force bored me to tears. I was never a fan of just the way Master Force went, which I know I'm probably not just being fair to it, but just something about the energy in the cast and the look of it. It didn't work for me. Can we get a tour of the collection? I don't really think the collection's worth touring anymore. People keep asking for it, so at some point I'm gonna have to do it, but I haven't shown the collection around my room here for a long time, so we'll see. Would I prefer if Hasbro Transformer toys had high-quality, smooth, shiny ABS plastic like in LEGO or Asian toys? Now, we've already heard from Hasbro there really isn't any difference in the plastic they're using. The difference in the plastic these days is just how much of it is being used. Like, it's being kept thin. It's being kept to what's necessary. That's why it might feel cheap in your hands. I'll tell you, the smooth and shiny does not mean it is higher quality. It just means that it's been through a different treatment than what Hasbro's plastic has been doing. Generally, no. Generally, I don't like a glossy look. You know, I kind of like the matte finish the Transformers have. So, yeah, I don't think it's a matter of like high quality, smooth, shiny plastic. I think it's just they're going for something different than Lego is. And, you know, that doesn't really mean it's lower quality. It just means it's different. And I'm not sure I would want that. What is worse, transparent plastic or gold plastic syndrome? I mean, they're both terrible for other reasons. Like with gold plastic, you have to actually interfere with the plastic somehow. You have to interact with it in order for it to break. If it's just standing on a shelf, it can survive 50 years and not have a single crack in it. But transparent plastic will just break on its own. Now, not every clear plastic is going to do that, but so overall, I would say gold plastic is definitely worse than clear plastic. But we've well documented my grievances with clear plastic. Like, I don't like a lot of it. I don't like any of it. What's the likelihood of you making at least one more Glyos video in the future? Honestly, the last Glyos video I did upset the wrong people. I said a few things in there that I really should have thought about better, and it cost me a friendship, which cost me a few connections. I'm kind of burned on Glyos. I buy it still once in a while, but I don't think I'm ever going to make another video for it. It's not that I'm like anti or like going against the creators, but you know, just me personally, like I screwed up. I feel terrible for it, and it's hard for me to revisit. If you were treating the cartoons as kayfabe, wrestling terminology, how would you explain why nobody died between 1984 and 2005, but then nearly everyone died during the Battle of Autobot City? So it is a little bit suspect that Transformers suddenly became very fragile and prone to explosion in 2005, when before and after they seem to handle blasts and all that way more. I think that would just, I think the only way you can really justify that is just preparedness. This was Megatron at his strongest point, where they were in control of Cybertron, fully in control of Cybertron once again. The Autobots had retreated to the moon of Cybertron, so they were already in an invulnerable spot, and we knew that they were already low on energon to power an assault. So you take a weakened Autobot with a strengthened Decepticon, and in those positions, and you just put in Megatron's preparation, how exhaustive the battle was. I think here's the thing. Like outside of Prowl, like obviously like internally catching fire, or like even Ironhide, really, we didn't really see like an actual death with Ironhide. I think most of those Autobots may have just died from the crash on Earth rather than like the direct assault from the Decepticons. Everything after that, as far as like characters dying, I think is just like how long the war and the Battle of Autobot City went on for. Favorite video game of all time, Final Fantasy VI. I think I did a Let's Play of it I played it on stream. It's archived somewhere on YouTube somewhere. But yeah, like I love the characters, I love the setting, I love the plot twist, I love everything about that game. That game is as close to perfect as I think I would call a video game ever. Will I view the Beast Machines show? Well, if my Patreon account if my Patreon finishes the month over 600, yes, I will. I will have no choice but to do it. Why do you think Hasbro Takara hated Bumblebee so much after G1? I don't think they ever did. I don't think they ever did hate Bumblebee. I mean, you think about it, like Bumblebee came back in Generation 2. They did do the Chrome version of the G1 toy. Bumblebee was one of the names they reused for the GoBots. And it wasn't a matter of like they hated Bumblebee. It's a matter of they changed directions, because at the time the G1, you ever remember in early 90s, the G1 cast was seen as a marketing, just like they saw it as just like a financial dead space. There was no nostalgia market for it. There was no rerunning the characters. They felt like, okay, all these characters have run their course. We need to put them aside for a long time. We need to just put them down and try something new with the brand. That's why they did Beast Wars, and that's why they did Beast Machines later on. And then, during Beast Wars, the bugs were Predacons, so they weren't going to do Bumblebee. And they were still shy about using past characters. So, completely new cast, no previous ones. And then Beast Machines happened again, obviously. We were probably going to get some returning characters with Trans Tech if that had ever happened, but it did not. So they needed a space filler. They needed filler for time, so they brought car robots over as robots in disguise. And then 2002 rolls around, and they said, okay, we're doing Armada, and Armada was supposed to have Bumblebee. Hotshot was designed with Bumblebee in mind. He was supposed to be that modern take on that character, the same way Armada Starscream was. Couldn't secure the name. By that point, DC had already moved in with their Bumblebee from the Teen Titans. So that name was not available. So it took the live-action movie to have the budget to kind of buy that name back. So it's not that they hated Bumblebee. Far from it. They tried, every opportunity they could to put the name out there, they did. It's just there was just that period where G1 was seen as a failure and no longer marketable. So they didn't want anything to do with Bumblebee. For the same reason we didn't have a Starscream. You're right. We didn't have a star screen for like 6 years. It's like between like between Beast Wars and RID, we didn't have a star screen. Because even the most popular G1 characters were just kind of seen as like just, I don't know, they were all kind of on a blacklist at that time. So it wasn't that they hated them. It's just that they just never they didn't have the opportunity until the live action movies came around to bring Bumblebee back. That's how it works. And I think I'm going to leave it there because this recording is like 40 minutes long and I have to chop it down to like 25 minutes. But thank you guys for asking. A lot of you asked the same questions. A lot of you put in more than one question. So remember, leave your questions for next month's Q&A in the comments below. And try to only ask one question, please. I want everyone to have a fair share. And also, it gives me a lot less to go through as well. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you got your answer question. If not, feel free to try again. Remember, if you got your answer in this video, please do not leave a new question. Let other people get in and let them get a chance. So, hopefully this goes well. Hopefully you enjoyed. So, thank you guys. I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.